United Nations is the world's largest international organization. It is a diplomatic and political organization with headquarters in New York, USA. This headquarters is considered international territory with certain privileges which are extraterritorial to the United States. It means that even though it is within the United States, the laws which are applicable over there would be different. It is considered as international territory. This blue building, this is the UN headquarters. Over here to the base, you can see the flags of so many countries. The other offices are in Geneva, Nairobi, Vienna, and The Hague. The Hague is important because the International Court of Justice is headquartered at the Peace Palace in Hague. This is important. And we should be aware that there are other offices as well. Then, the United Nations was established after the Second World War. It replaced the League of Nations, which was established after the First World War, and the League of Nations was clearly ineffective. Let us look into the League of Nations a bit right now. It was established in 1920 by the Paris Peace Conference that ended the First World War. So, after the First World War, they established League of Nations with the aim of preventing a further war. But did that happen? No. And League of Nations was headquartered in Geneva and it dissolved in April 1946. This date is important. It dissolved in April 1946 and it was established in 1920 with headquarters in Geneva. The goal even of the United Nations is to prevent future world wars. Now, how did the United Nations come about? How did it originate? 50 nations met in San Francisco, California for a conference, and they started drafting the UN Charter on 25th April 1945. 50 nations met in San Francisco. Now, this date is not that important. UN Charter was adopted on 25th June 1945. This is important. And it came into effect on 24th October 1945 when the UN began its operations. Even this is important. When was the UN Charter adopted and when did they begin operations? Then India became a member on October 30th, 1945. That is just 6 days after the UN began operations, and we were still a British colony then. Mind you, though UN began operations in October 1945, the League of Nations was officially dissolved only in April 1946. At its founding, the UN had 51 member states, and as of 2023, it has 193, which is almost all of the world's sovereign states. Now, just let us look at the aim of UN, what it aims to achieve. Maintain international peace and security, develop friendly relations among nations, achieve international cooperation, and serve as a center for harmonizing the actions of nations, protect human rights and delivering humanitarian aid, promote sustainable development, and uphold international law. See, we would find that the UN has not been able to do a lot of these things, because of which there are allegations or criticism that the UN has become defunct. It is not that relevant in the current scenario. And this is especially called into question by the veto power of the permanent five. We will look into all those later on.